Yeah, I thought, especially in the second half, obviously Mikey had that spell where he was really feeling good, and I think Matt has made a point of just kept giving him the ball, and I thought that showed real leadership, because in that moment it's easy for sort of Matters to try and do things himself, but I think he sensed that Mikey was doing some special things and kept giving him the ball. So look, he's a vice captain, he's one of our leaders, and last night I thought he really stood up and played well, but I thought he played well on the weekend too. So yeah.
But you're delighted he called him Neymar as well, aren't you?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, great. Look, I think we all understand with young players you do have to be really careful. But as I said after the game, I don't get the sense that that's going to affect Mikey at all. And there's no denying he was great last night. I thought he was great the whole game, especially in that period. And exciting for us.
It's fair to say that Mikey Moore yesterday played really well, but he hasn't started in the Premier League so far. So do you imagine that he's kind of getting to the stage where he's now ready to start a Premier League match?
Look, he's ready to start any game. It's just, like I said, I just feel that, especially with young players, he's got to be, really careful about, their introduction into senior football. It's not like he's, even last year he didn't really have a full season of football. He had quite a few injuries, or a couple of injuries that left him out. He went from under 18s football to playing very little under 21s before we integrated him. So you have to look at that. I think he's still physically growing, and you have to take that into account. So I think he's ready to play, start a Premier League game for sure. But it's about, for me, it's about making sure that, for us, what we want to do is continue to kind of develop Mikey in the right way, give him the platform to keep improving. And so far, whatever we've asked of him, he's made a real impact, and the plan is to continue to do that.
So how special is Mikey Moore? How special can he be? I mean, wasn't so long ago everyone was saying England's next world-class youngster coming through was Jude Bellingham, which was right, and then Cole Palmer. How special?
Look, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you mean by special. I mean, he's a talented young player. He's a bit behind the guys you've mentioned because, like I said, he hasn't started a Premier League game yet. So we've just got to be careful about sort of... And I think Mikey just wants to be Mikey. As I said after the game, what I do see with him is he's very mature for a 17-year-old. He handles things really well, both positive and negative. He works hard every day. And he's making an impact at an age where it's very difficult to make an impact at this level. So, but that's the beginning of a process for him and the beginning of his career. And like I said, from my perspective, it's about making sure that we're constantly working with him and giving him the opportunity and the platform to keep improving. And if he does, then Mikey will be Mikey, and they'll take him to wherever his ability does.
And in terms of, if you can, explain the process, because sometimes with young players, we all say, like we did with Phil Foden, you should go out on loan rather than sit at Man City and be on the bench and maybe get a few minutes in, a few minutes there. And there'll be some people saying that about Mikey Moore. Why doesn't he go out on loan, play every week? Why stay with you and play just bits and pieces? So what is the pros and cons of you keeping him for the whole season and maybe getting just those bits and pieces rather than week in, week out, say, starting for Leyton Orient or Watford or whatever?
I think the key is that you treat each case individually. I think if you start just having a sort of blanket policy, I think that's where you miss. I said the key for us this year was to try and expose Mikey to, first team environment. That was more important than him just getting game time, because he hasn't been at this level for any length of time. Other players who maybe had a year of first team environment and haven't had game time, they need to go out and play, but Mikey wasn't in that boat. I know you say bits and pieces, but we're only sort of 7-8 games into a Premier League season, and with Europe and Carabao Cup, he's already played. If we get between 15 and 20 games for Mikey between now and the end of the season, I don't think that's bits and pieces. I think that's meaningful for him, and then we assess it from there. But I really think it's important you just treat these things on an individual basis. because ultimately what you want to do is what's the best for that player rather than sort of, have a blanket approach.
Just on Mikey, like for fans, obviously having a player coming through is like one of the most exciting things that can ever happen. What's it like as a manager when you sort of start to see a talent like that blossoming? Like how exciting is that for you without wanting to big him up too much?
Yeah, no, it is. It is exciting. It's because it filters through the whole club, because I'm sure everyone in the academy takes enormous pride in it. Everyone who's had a hand in his journey, coaches, people around him, everyone takes pride in that. So the whole club feels good about seeing somebody who's come through, the program. And as a manager, you're excited, that at 17 you've got a player who's already, like I said, showing a maturity in mindset, where he's given himself every chance to be the best player he can be, because I don't sense in him, like I said, that sometimes with young players they're exciting, but you think, I can already see there could be some pitfalls down the road, but I don't sense it with him. So, at 17 you wonder, if he keeps going like that, what's he going to be like at 2021? And hopefully I'm still a manager that benefits from that, mate. But you never know.